Evelyn Boisvert of Canada. Katrin Bensing of Germany. Julie Farrell-Ovenhouse of the USA. Tracy Cox-Smart of Zimbabwe. From Czechoslovakia, Heidi Marie Barkova. Mary DiPiero of Canada. Krista Wilson, USA. Daphne Youngins of Holland. 12 finalists in all in the women's 3 metre. And Britta Baldus, Liu Hai Song, Alina Lashko, and Yao Min of China. Referee is Rob Stewart from Zimbabwe. There are 7 judges, including Alberto Capilla of Italy or Mexico? Mexico. All right. Not sure. No, I can't hear you now. Just a quick problem, lads. Don's mic is gone. Try again now. No, it's gone. We're not sure, mate. It might be a different Capilla or something. No, it's all right, Cole. Don't worry about him. He is from Italy. No, it's not there. No, it's not there. Yep. Is the battery on? Oh, yeah, not one. Hello, call the tech. Yeah, we got no. I've got the smaller earpiece ones, and Don's got a big one. There isn't one for Don. Oh, it's Don who's got the problem. He doesn't have that. Yep. On the box, it's turned on. Yep. Position A, yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, commencing the Women's 3 metre springboard World Championship. Diver number 1 from Canada, Evelyn Boisvert.
From Canada, Evelyn Boisvert. First dive, women's 3 metre final. Forward 1.5 with Pike. Now difficulty of 1.6. Reasonable start from Evelyn. Pretty well on the end of the board, first up. 7's there, 6 and a 6.5 for 33.12. Germany's Katrin Bensing. Inward 1.5 with Pike. Going for one of her more difficult dives of them at first up. Basket. Handled it pretty well.
In replay here we see plenty of height with the dive, nice close Pike position. Just the heels going a little bit long at the end of the dive. Very smooth beginning. First round in this final of 10 dives.
7.5, 7 to the 6.
Julie Farrell-Ovenhouse, United States of America, 1033, forward 1.5 stop.
Julie Farrell-Ovenhouse of the USA, forward 1.5, tuck position.
The approach, nice and high, a little bit stuck in the somersault. He's done a little slowly, but no problem at the end of the dive. Should score 7, 7.5. 7.5. Good strong turn. The end of the board. The tuck. Pike's out here. Dive to finish the dive off.
Nothing below 6.5. 31.95.
Tracy Cox-Smart, Zimbabwe, 5.2.313. Back 1.5.
Tracy Cox-Smart, back 1.5. Half twist. Very difficulty is 2.
Nice effort, but a big splash at the end. Taking it down fairly deep into the pool. Tracy not being able to execute the entries into the water as well as some of the other competitors. There's the half twist, 1.5 somersault, and the big splash.
Six and a halves and sevens for 40.8. Mary Bartola of Czechoslovakia. Medalist in the 1 metre. Here again in the 3.
The first dive, back dive pike, and she has very little of her foot on the board, just the balls of the feet and the toes. Standing up high. Touch the toes, kept close to the board, ever so short on entry. Kept this side very close, you'll be able to see the feet coming down about 10 centimetres at the end of the board, just there. And a nice smooth entry, albeit a little bit short.
7, couple of backs there, 39.96. Mary Hero. Forward 1.5 to pike, 1.6.
Nice smooth approach. Very little splash on the entry, but the body wasn't really lined up in a straight position. Hurdle short on the end of the board. Just here, not quite straight going in.
7s and 8s, 7.5 for 34.56. Mr. Wilson, USA. Follow the lead of Kent Ferguson and win the 3 metre. The Americans, Kent is here watching.
She starts off with a very simple forward dive pike. Oh, very elegant. Not much flash. You might see a few 8s here. Good way to start the competition for Kirsten. Good hurdle. Nicely, the end of the board, touch of the toes, side up the entry.
Yes, 3 8s in there in fact, and 34.2, a pleasing start. Forward dive, 1.6. Daphne Youngins of Holland was 11th in the 1 metre final.
Forward dive, in a straight position for her first dive. Plenty of height, good entry. That's a better one than she did to start the preliminary competition yesterday. She took that dive slightly over, but this one is right on balance at the end. In fact, on balance all the way through the dive. Good hurdle to the end of the board. Straight position, hands together.
7.5s and 8s, even 8.5. Valdez, Germany. Gold medalist at the 1986 Goodwill Games on this 3 metre competition.
1.5 pike. Very close pike in the somersault part of the dive, just a little bit short. In front of the dive, right to the bottom of the pool. Quite often that doesn't give as good an entry as the divers who roll with the entry. Look how close that pike is. Head right on the knees.
7.5s, go up to 7 and the 8, and you'll get 36. One is Wu Ho-Song, just 16 years old. Forward 1.5 to start with.
Nice dive. Everything good about that one. Hurdle right on the end of the board. Tremendous height. And very good entry as well. Pick up those three major things right on the end of the board. High dive. And a great alignment on the end.
Oh, nothing below 8. 39.36.
Is Alaska, USSR, 201B, back dive,
Fourth in the 1 metre was Irina Lashko of the Soviet Union. Back dive, pike position. First in this women's 3 metre final.
Oh, nicely done. Maybe some 9s, 8.5 here. This dive is done close to perfection.
8.5, 8.5.
She's jumped very high, quite close to the board. Look at those legs, they hardly move. Straight through into the water and not much splash.
And warm applause from big crowd here at the diving pool for these scores. 8.5s, 9s, and 9.5 in there. 46.98.
Gao Ming, People Republic of China, 103B, forward, 1.5 control.
Gao Min of China has seen some very good opening dives go before her. Used to pressure, used to winning.
Forward 1.5 has matched it with the entry here. Excellent entry. She's only quite a tiny diver, but look at the height she generates from the board. Way up there. And more importantly, entry.
8s, 8.5s, and a 9 to 39.84. Fifth after the first round. And after one round, Irina Lashko of the Soviet Union just steals a 1-point break over Katrin Bensing of Germany. Tracy Cox-Smythe, third place on 40 points. Martova is fourth, Gao Min fifth, Liu Haisong of China, so the two Chinese close together, Daphne Yongyans and Britta Baldus, 7th and 8th, Mary Di Piero, Krista Wilson, Evelyn Boisvert, and 12th after one round of dives is Julia Farrell of the Ready then for the start of round 2, Evelyn Boisvert from Montreal, Quebec.
1.8 difficulty factor for her back dive in the pike position. Jump, lined it up well. All the divers are on form here in this final. Best 12 women's 3 metre springboard divers in the world.
7.5, 7.5.
Nice height on this one. Lined up well.
39.42.
7s and 7.5s, 39.42.
Katrin Bensing, 101A, forward 5, straight, 1.8.
Katrin Bensing of Germany, 6th at the 1986 World Championships.
Good dive straight. We've left that a little bit short, was twisted on entry. Heel's not coming up quite fast enough on leaving the end of the springboard. And she had to use her arms in a circling fashion to get the dive around. Watch the arms, they start to circle here. And the dive twists at the end.
7.5 and 6.5, 32.64.
Julie Farrell, 301B, reverse 5,
USA.
Four steps into the hurdle. dive pike. Not a bad effort. Small splash. Fairly deep into the pool.
7.5, 6.5, 7.
Right on the end.
6.5, 6.5.
Looking for the water.
7.5 to 6.5 is the range. 38.5.
Tracy Cox-Smythe, 101B. Forward dive, Pike, 1.5.
Tracy Cox-Smythe. Forward dive with Pike. Pretty well with her first and more difficult dive.
The board a little bit, kept it quite close, arching the back on entry and the dive gone a little bit long. Most people can identify with this dive. It's the first dive that anyone would do, really going up to the 3-metre board. Forward dive, touch the toes, right up the end, just the heels going over a fraction.
That's the average thing for 29.7.
Heidi Marie-Bartova, 301A. Reverse dive, straight.
Heidi Marie-Bartova, Czechoslovakia. Mother of a 2-year-old.
First dive straight here. The end of the board. A little bit with the hips coming down for the final entry position. That's plenty of height in the dive. Gained from this good hurdle, right on the edge, tempted close to the board, and just the hips turning at the end.
She'll get 7th there, 41.4.
Mary Piero, 201B. Back dive, Pike, 1.8.
Canada, Mary Piero. England Wild Canadian representative in this final.
Dive, back dive, pike position. Touches the toes, just left the dive a little short on the end. Leaves the feet slightly on the end of the board just before takeoff too. Taking them back a fraction, almost closed pike. Just the alignment, not quite clear. Throwing a little splash back towards the board.
7.5 is the top score, 6.5 the bottom.
Crystal Wilson, 201A.
Crystal Wilson of the USA, 2 Americans, 2 Chinese, 2 Germans, 2 Canadians in this final.
This dive here, back dive, straight position. She looks confident. Good jump. Oh, and right on too. The balance is there, and that'll be good for her when she gets to the voluntary section of the competition. There's the gold medalist in the men's 3-metre event, giving his support. Nice height, good body position, and a very good entry.
And for Crystal Wilson, this has scored well with 7.5s and 8s, 44.46.
There is somebody staying on the far side of the pool using a flash camera. Cameras with electronic flashes are prohibited and must not be used. There must be no electronic flash photography during the competition. Thank you.
No flash photography is the request.
That's the only 201 back dive, 1.8.
Daphne Youngins at bottom. Back dive. Right position. Good job on the first dive.
We're in the dives with limit section of the competition. Well, that's a bad one for Daphne. She's touched the toes at the top of the dive, and the legs have kept rotating over. So she'd be lucky to pick up 6s for this dive. Good jump, toes there. Now watch the legs. Keep going. She's flipped it over. Slight delay, breaking her concentration before the dive.
Yeah, it's 7.5s for a first dive, but only 6s there. 32.4. Britta Baldus, 25 years old from Leipzig.
Dive here, back dive in a tight position. Standing up nice and tall. Good vigorous touch of the toes. Quickly out of the tight position and dropped well into the water. Very snappy pike. Out, line up the body. Quite a smooth finish to the dive. Not much splash.
6.5 is the bottom score, 7.5 the top. Luo Haifeng, China.
Interesting technique to use the back dive and reverse dive pikes by the Chinese. They try to jump up very high, touch the toes, come out while the body is still going up. Just a little bit short. A little bit disappointed with this dive. Now, she touches the toes and the feet are still going up when she comes out. Lines up the entry. Just a little bit short on the alignment.
8's on the first dive, 7.5 on the score. Lashko, 1 point leader after the first round of dives. First dive with Pike, 1.9 the degree of difficulty. She is capable of mounting a challenge for Gao Min.
Right on the end of the board. Nice, there's a good double entry, but there's a little hesitation at the end of the dive. We've got the advantage of being able to see the slow motion replay, which judges don't have. Great top to the dive, looking for the entry position. Not bad.
8's, 8.5 there, 7.5, 45.6.
Yao 201B, back dive, 1.8.
Chinese enthusiasts in the crowd here to support the world and Olympic champion Gao Min. Back dive, high position.
Well, very snappy into back dive. Nice position, not as high as she's done this dive in the past. Legs were coming up a little quickly. Into that pike, out of the dive, look for the entry. Just arms not quite at the vertical position, but still certainly worth a 7.5 or 8.
Indeed, 8's, 6.5 there, 7.5, 44.82. After 2 rounds, Arina Lashko has stretched her lead to 92-84 over Gao Min. Heidemarie Bartova is third. Lu Haifeng, Krista Wilson of the USA, the two Germans together, Katrin Bensing and Britta Baldus, then Evelyn Boisvert, first of the Canadians. Followed by fellow Canadian Mary DiPiero, Tracy Cox-Smythe, Julie Farrell-Obenhouse, and from Holland, Daphne Jongens. Hey, Cole, any chance someone can find out what the Chinese banner says? I know, Audrey. I mean, if Gao wins, they're going to be waving it around. It'd be nice to know.
Evelyn Boisvert, 301B, reverse dive, 1.5.
Evelyn Boisvert, reverse dive.
Little stamp on the end of the board, reducing the power on the takeoff, and it showed up right at the end of the dive. With a slightly messy entry. At the end of the board, however, tight position, just losing the ball at the end.
4 sevens in there. Looking at a 38.76. Mensing, 5 years old, from Hogan.
Her third dive, back dive, right position. Just getting her composure. Her starting position with the arms straight out to the side. As soon as those arms start to move, the judges will start marking the dive. A little bit of a lazy action there. She's trying to give the impression that the dive is very smooth, but I think it gave me the impression she's lazy and pulled up just a little bit short. Touch of a toe, just finishing short at the end.
6.5 in there, 38.88. Lovenhouse of the USA, 22 years old. Brighton, Michigan. Back dive, high position. 1.8 visibility.
Touch of the toes is a little low, so not getting those legs up high enough, ready for the alignment position on entry. So the legs are at about 45 degrees to vertical here, and they've stayed there throughout the dive, consequently it's short. Won't be happy with this dive, just an error in judgment.
There's nothing above 7 there, just 34.5 points. Casey Cox-Smythe, been a participant at the last 3 Commonwealth Games. 24.
She'll be performing back dive in a straight position here for her third dive. Watch the entry. That's what she has some difficulty with. Big splash coming up once again.
The dive looks good, Don, but can you explain why she can't get the entry to the other one?
Well, she's going into the water with a slightly different arm action. And on the double dive, very difficult to take the water down with you. Hands together, and she's keeping them together right through.
Sevens, couple of 6.5s, 39.33. Heidi Marie Bartova, Czechoslovakia. Far, in fact.
Interesting dive here, reverse 1.5 with half twist, turn, look at the board, and then 1.5 somersault. Toes were perilously close to the end of the board. In fact, they might have been just over the end on takeoff. She's handled the dive with great confidence anyway. Those toes, yes, over the end, half twist, look at the board, now go for the entry position. That's a good dive considering trouble at the start.
Yes, and averaging 7.5s in there for 46.62. Mary Piero, Canada, this dive 1.9, difficulty factor.
Well, a nice smooth dive. There is a double entry and a hiss coming up as the body went through.
A tap and a hiss almost, isn't it?
Yes, the judges really like that. It doesn't happen too often. So you get a distinct sound comes up when the splash does the air. The air escaping from the water.
Oh, there's a 9 there from the British judge. That is a good result. 43.89. America's Krista Wilson. Lives in Laguna Hills, California.
First dive, straight position, with a stamp on the end of the board. She's left the dive a little short in the air, had to work very hard with the back through the dive to really arch pull hard to get the dive in. Big smile, but she knows she really hasn't done a good job on this dive. Troubles here, she stamped the board and really has to pull with that back. She's really pulling hard now and just made it on the water.
7.5 down to 6, 41.4. Daphne Youngins of Holland will be looking for a big improvement on her previous dive when she only drew 6s.
Similar type of dive here, reverse dive, the pike position, so this is a back dive running forwards. 3 steps, into the hurdle, good takeoff, that's better, lined it up well, much better dive, 7.5s and 8s should come up from the judges.
A hint of a smile there from Daphne Youngins.
No over rotation on this dive, right on the end, straight up, touch the toes, look for the water, straight down.
6 judges for 8 and 1 9 for 45.6. Goals, Germany, tough act to follow after Daphne Youngins' superb reverse dive with pike.
Nicely done as well, but further out from the end of the board. I'd say about a quarter of a point below Daphne Youngins' dive.
Well, I don't give quarters. Let's see what happens.
Nicely on the end. Good touch. Back. Pretty good entry as well.
Good call on 7.5s and 8s there. 44.46. Lu Hai Song, China. Her fourth dive. Sorry, her third dive. Fourth in competition. First dive. Pike position.
Good takeoff. But for the toes flipping over at the end, that would have scored 8, 8.5. Here we see what was good about it. Tremendous height from the board. Good pike. It was looking good until just there.
7.5s and 1/8 for 42.75. Jelena Lashko of the Soviet Union leading, really taking it up to Gao Min.
And a higher degree of difficulty dive here. Inward 1.5 somersault pike. Difficulty factor 2.1. So she might even extend her lead here. Good spin. Great finish. Boy, she really knew where that water was. For a moment there I thought the legs were going to go over, but she stopped them like a rock. One somersault, hands in the water, and those legs go straight down.
Lashko, 7.5s and 8s there, 49.14. Last dive, round 3. Gao Min, reverse dive, pike position.
Shoot on the end of the board. Just a little, giving the impression that the feet have flipped over at the end. Look across to their coach. Let's look at the feet on the end of the board. Unusual for Gao, she's normally always on the end. 5 to 10 metres short, centimetres short at the end. Feet continued over.
And the judges have a marker down put. 8s and 8.5. 46.74. Jelena Lashko leads by 10 points from Gao Min after 3 rounds. Ida-Marie Bartova of Czechoslovakia is third, a clear third in fact, 6 points clear of Lu Hai Song. Krista Wilson, Britta Boulders, Katrin Bensing and Mary Di Piero. Daphne Youngins has moved up to 9th. Evelyn Boisvert, Tracy Cox-Smythe and Julie Farrell-Ovenhouse trails Tracy by 5 points. Chinese athletes come on. Evelyn Boisvert from Canada has been in their national team for 2 years now. As we commence round 4, there's a forward 1.5 with one twist.
Good takeoff with plenty of height. Body got straight by the time she hit the water, but it was just a little bit short. Not close enough to the vertical position that the judges are looking for. Power on takeoff into the full twist. Hit the ball as well.
Sevens in there for 43.47. Catherine Bensing, Germany.
Stamping the board on her reverse dive straight, and the result of that was the dive was over with a slight twist on the end. Lots to cheer about. German supporters there. Hurdle just here, flattens the feet, stamps the board. And the rotation is going too far, twisting and over.
6.5 clear for 38.4. Julie Farrell-House, 1990 NCAA 1 metre champion. I think 1 metre is probably her stronger event. She's made the final here. With 1.5 tuck.
Very nice snap out into a tight position at the end of the somersault, giving her a good look at the water. And on this occasion, a good entry. Somersault, pikes out there, and a simple pike dive down to the water. No movement to the side of the board, directly in line.
2 scores of 8 to low of 6.5 for 42.18. Zimbabwe, 11th after 3 rounds. First dive straight.
Really had to arch the back to get that dive around. She took it up a little too steeply, with not much energy put into the rotation. You'll see on replay here, very arched back. She's pulling all the way to try and get that half somersault done, just making it on entry.
37.8 Tracy's total. Mary Vartova. Bronze medal in the 1 metre. She's sitting third at the moment.
Just a simple pike dive here. Simple but done very well. Should see a few 8s for this dive. 1.5 is the difficulty factor for this. Total score won't be very high. Into the board. Nice touch of the toe. Winding it up all the way down.
7s and a couple of 8s. 33.75. Mary Piera, Canada. Maybe the winter champion for the last 3 years.
Full twister. Not a bad job. Not much splash on entry there. But it appeared to me she didn't quite get her head in alignment with the rest of the body on entry, but no splash, so we can't argue with it. Back on the water a little bit. Full twist. Not quite in position on entry.
46.62. That's a healthy total. Krista Wilson of the USA competed in last year's Goodwill Games in Seattle, and she was 9th on the 3 metre. Her 4th dive was an inward dive straight.
Very close competition at this stage. Nicely up. It looked like she was struggling to get the feet up enough, but of course made it in the end. the vertical entry at the finish.
He's got 3 8s in there for 39.27.
Youngins, 4:01.8. Equal dive, straight, 1.7.
Youngins. Dive straight.
The 5 dives must have an average difficulty factor of 1.9. This one is a 1.7. Lots of power into that dive. Nicely performed. Difficult dive to do well. Body maintaining the straight position throughout. Just the half a somersault. Time and hands hit the wall.
7.5 there. Correction. Coach. 38.25 total.
Peter Bowles, 4:03B. England, 1.5 somersault, 2.1.
Peter Bowles. Past decades, he's been a 3-metre champion for Germany.
The fourth dive here, 1.5 pike, 2.1. Nice and close. Good work. Lined up very well at the end.
Now something to cheer about for the Germans.
All of inward dives need to be kept close to the board, whether it's an inward dive straight, a 1.5 pike like this, or a 2.5 somersault. The dive must be done fairly close to the board.
Halves for 47.25, Peter Bowles.
Blue Hong Kong, 4:03B. England, 1.5 somersault,
Song,
2.1.
fourth, needing to pick up some 6.5 points to catch Bartova.
Well, she should do that with a 2.1 difficulty factor dive. 1.5 pike. Nice bubble. Good entry. High degree of difficulty being multiplied by the judges' marks of around 7.5 and 8 will certainly score an extra 10 to 12 points.
7.5.
Good pike position. Good entry.
48.5.
Much wrong with this dive.
Blue, big score, 7.5s and 3 8s, 48.51. Lashko, this dive, a forward 1.5, has a difficulty of only 1.6, so she could come back to the field a little here.
10-point break on Gao at this stage. 1.5. Oh, it's a little bit short. Reasonable entry, but not quite vertical. So I think the judges have put it down for her to just a 7.5 or a 7. Now, a better look at it in slow motion from right beside the judges. Nice pike position. Not quite as short as I thought first time.
3 judges went with her, 3 8s, a couple of 7s, 36.48. Gao Min of China, 2.1 the difficulty for this inward 1.5. Catch Lashko.
Get her enough points to get up there. Get into the lead. Lots of stretching power going into this dive. One somersault and an excellent finish. Superb diving here from the Olympic champion.
Look at the scores too, 2 9s, 2.5s and 8s, 52.92, that gets her up there. Here's how we stand then after 4 rounds of the women's 3-metre final. Gao Min in front. Oh, she's taken a 6-point lead from Arina Lashko. Lu Hai Song is third. Britta Baldus, Mary Di Piero, Heidi-Marie Bartova has slipped to 6th. Krista Wilson, 7th. Katrin Bensing of Germany is 8th. Evelyn Boisvert, Daphne Youngins back to 10th. Tracy Cox-Smythe holding on to 11th. And Julie Farrell-Ovenhouse still in 12th position.
Battle out of those two. I think Dow's will walk away. Lashko doesn't miss him.
Inward 1.5. Pike is the 5th dive with limit for Evelyn Boisvert of Canada. She's a education student at the University of Montreal.
Trouble with the legs just after takeoff. Moving around a little bit till it was settled into pike position. Just here, those feet are apart, now together, hands together, reasonable entry. Nicely in line with the board.
4 sevens, 42.8.
5-2-3-1-B.
Back 1.5 somersault. Half twist. This is always pretty to watch though.
All of the twisting dives look great in the air, but very difficult for the divers to finish them off well without that twist continuing into the water.
Julie Farrell-Ovenhouse. She's gone for a most difficult dive here. The last one, the dive with limit. Back 1.5 twists. So she should lift herself away from 12th if she can get through this one well.
She's done it very well indeed. 7.5 standard here. Leaving her biggest dive till the end. And with scores of 7s and 7.5 should get in the 50s for this dive. Nice twist. Very important the entry was good.
7s, 7.5 stand. 51.12, that is better. Tracy Cox-Smythe from Zimbabwe. Well represented here. Melbourne Stewart in the men's competition. And Tracy making the final here in the 3 metre. Inward 1.5, pike position.
High. Nicely lined up. Really pleased with that. She's diving well here in this final. Hasn't missed a dive. First 5. Nice vertical position on entry.
Oh, 6, top of 7.5, 43.47. Bartova, Czechoslovakia. She's got at least one fan every time she steps up with a lone voice. Come on, Heidi. Inward 1.5.
larger than I thought it would be. Apart from the entry, it's an 8 standard dive. Plenty of power, tight pike. Lineup was good. Just that big splash coming at the end.
Nothing too much wrong there. 7s, 7.5, 7 8, and 45.36.
Mary Dipiero, 403D, England, 1.5 tons off, pike 2.1.
Mary Dipiero, inward 1.5. Just got into the Canadian national team in 1988.
Plenty of height, kept it very close to the end of the board. Did a fine job on the entry as well, so we could see some 7.5 here. Watch the end of the board. The dive's gone pretty well straight up. Been just clearing the end. Good dive.
Well, 44.1. I don't know what the Norwegian judge saw, but that 5.5 was a character with the rest.
Krista Wilson, 5.233. Back
Krista Wilson, the USA. 7th as we come into this 5th round. Back 1.5 twists. Tracks a 2.4 to very difficult. Big dive here for the Californian, who trains in Texas.
7s for this dive will bring in around 50 points. Oh, but she's done it better than 7s. So she might even get near the 60 mark for this dive. Very well done. Good power on the takeoff. 1.5 twists. And watch the finish. Terrific entry for a twister. Very smooth dive.
Scores close together there. 8s and 7.5s. 55.44 for Krista Wilson.
Daphne Youngman, 5.134D, forward 1.5 tons off, 2.
Daphne Youngans throws the chamois away and it's down to business. It's a forward 1.5 with 2 twists. This is about the most difficult dive we'll see in this dives with limit section.
2.5. She's really relying on a good dive here to bring up maximum points. Stamped forward a little, and the dive's ended up a little bit short. That power that she lost on takeoff due to the stamp has robbed her of the rotation she needed to complete the dive. Just here, flattening the feet, stamping the board, no problems with the double twist. That's finished okay. But here, run out of steam, slightly short.
Yes, and only 5.5 up to 6.5. 48.75.
Lisa Bowler, 5.132D, forward 1.5 tons off.
Forward 1.5 with a full twist under the Baldus. Round 5.
Steps up the hurdle. Again, a little bit short. Not quite picking that vertical alignment. For running dives, the divers are required to do at least 3 steps before the hurdle. Of course, many doing more than 3. Finishing this dive just that small amount short.
7s and 7.5 then for 45.36.
Rule press on, 5.132D, forward 1.5 tons off.
Wu Hai Song. 2 Chinese representatives in this final, and they're 1st and 3rd at the moment.
Final 3 divers are performing this same dive, full twisting forward 1.5. That's a good one to start. We'll be able to compare and just see who does the best of the 3 of them. And of course, these are the 3 leaders from the preliminary round yesterday. Right on the end of the board. Twist finish.
8s and 7.5s. 9 from the Norwegian judge. Nearly 50 points.
Irina Lashko, 5.132D, forward 1.5.
Irina Lashko trails Gao Min by 6 points. Forward 1.5 with a full twist.
Plenty of power. Dive finished early. Slightly tight hitting the water. top of the dive is great. Very athletic dive.
You see the full house here for this women's final. And they're really being treated to some top-class dives.
Plenty of power into this dive. Just at the end, not quite getting straight.
7.5 low of 6.5 and top of 8, 45.99. Gao Min, our last diver in our last dive with limit round. And she increased her lead.
Same dive as Lashko. Oh, but done that better. She's certainly got the vertical position on entry. This will score 8s. Powered into the hurdle, right on the end. Lots of height. Twist finished early. A good entry.
Gao is pretty pleased. 7.5s and 8s. 49.14 her total. Final dive in round 5. After the 5 rounds of dives with limit are complete then, Gao Min, 11-point leader over Irina Lashko of the Soviet Union. Lu Hai-song is third. Krista Wilson of the USA, nearby in 4th position. Brita Baldas, 3 points back. 5th, Heidi Marie Bartova, Mary DiPiero, and Daphne Youngins make up the top 8. Farrell Ovenhouse has gone away from the bottom to be 9th. Katrin Bensing, Evelyn Boisvert, and Tracy Cox-Smythe. Relying on French heritage there. That's what you have with soup, isn't it? Evelyn Boisvert, first voluntary dive. Interesting, she didn't make the Commonwealth Games team last year, and here she is in the World Championship final.
Big dive forward, 3.5 somersault cut. But she didn't get enough power from the end of the board. The timing that's the problem. She really tried to muscle this dive, stamped the board. 1, 2, 3 somersaults. The water's coming up fast, but not quite enough rotation.
4.5s only in 5s. Top of 5.5, 38.64. Bensing of Germany. First voluntary dive is an inward 2.5.
Typically on all of these dives has jumped from around 1.9 up to the high 2s. This one 2.7. 2.5 rotations towards the springboard. Good takeoff, piped out at the end. Just didn't quite have enough height to get a drop on the dive. She got vertical just as the hands hit the water. 6.5, I think is the score for this. Rotation was okay, but not a great deal of height. Spiking out. In the end, just a little short.
6.5, the top of the score there to 51.82. Julie Farrell Ovenhouse. Good crowd supporting her today. Forward 2.5. Pike position.
Nice spin, and she dogged it in at the end. Good effort from her. What the women will be looking for, really good dive will score 60 points or more. A bad one will be less than 50. Like 2.5, done quite well.
7s and 7.5s, 53.28.
Tracy Cox-Smythe, 105B, forward, 2.5 tons of front, 2.4.
Zimbabwe's Tracy Cox-Smythe, the forward 2.5. In the high position. 2.4, the difficulty.
Stamped the board a little bit, but took it straight up. Got a good spin going. Just rolled the finish a little bit. Throwing a little heel splash on entry.
6.5, 7,
Straight in the air. Hitting fairly close to the hip. He was just rolling at the end.
5 sevens there. Still 6.5.
Aida Imakura, 105B, forward, 2.5 tons of front, 2.4.
Fletcher's getting looked at the same dive several times here. Forward 2.5 height, 112er.
Plenty of height. Dropped it in as well. I think that's a 7.5. Again, the board clanging a little bit as she took off. The coordination wasn't quite spot on. There she was. Finished it well.
7 to 7.5 range for 51.8.
Mary DiPiero, 5-2-3-5-3.
Mary DiPiero. Took up diving. She was 14. She's 22 now. In Thunder Bay, Ontario. Back 1.5. 2.5 twists.
No moon feet to get the 2.5 twists done. And then worry about the entry at the end. See what I mean? She's had lots of trouble here. Shaking her head underwater.
Hook him up.
But how did I do that? Look on her face. Really got lost at the end of the twist. Started a little bit too early. Head down, that's the problem. Had the head back in the twist, not down. Lost control.
Very untidy and ordinary scores to go with it. 21.84 the total. Somewhere else. Mr. Wilson of the USA. Forward 2.5. Right position.
Plenty of height there. She's left it a little bit short though. She had so much height. Good rotation.
Couple of American medalists there, and Ken Ferguson and Mark Menzie.
She really had everything going for her in this dive, but came out early to try and really dominate at the end, but far too early in the end.
3/8, 4 7.5s, 55.44. That's okay.
Daphne Youngman, 105B, forward, 2.5 tons of front, 2.4.
Daphne Youngman, Holland. Again, it's the forward 2.5 with height, but we'll see.
Daphne uses quite a short approach to the end of the board, just 3 steps into the hurdle. Oh, and it's straightened up pretty well. Unfortunately, the splash coming back quite high and towards the board would indicate to the judge that she's not quite in that vertical position.
She thought she'd done that pretty well. Big splash. She wouldn't have seen across the half points.
Ever so short on that big splash going back towards the board.
53.28 total for that.
Peter Longwood, 405C, inward, 2.5 tons of front, 2.4.
Inward 2.5 with tuck position for Britta Baldus.
Takeoff, wiped it out. Just went loose a little in the back on entry. Didn't hold the body really straight and drive it through the water. The top of the dive was very good. Fast spin, plenty of height, finished the double level with the board, wiped out, just losing the back on entry.
102.75 the total. All those 7.5s and an 8. She likes it. Lu Hai Song trails Arina Leshko by just 5 points. And Gao Min by some 14.
Forward 2.5 pike, toes over the end of the board. She's controlled the finish.
That looked great from up here.
The toes over the end has really startled her into action here. Very high, fast pike, close to the board where it's supposed to be at the great end.
And there are the high scores for the day so far. 2 of 9, 2 of 9.5. 64.08. And Arina Leshko find an answer to Lu Hai Song. Just put in a ripper.
Well, she's doing the same dive. A lot of pressure. Not as much height. She's lost control of the entry. Didn't get her hands together. Consequently, the body was thrown around as she went through the water. The judge just watched a beauty. This one has gone a little bit further out, not quite as high. Just on the entry here, body moving around in an arched position.
So 7s and 7.5s for 52.56. Well, Gao Min, if she dives confidently here, we'll see China 1 and 2 after round 6.
Need about 50 points to take the lead. Oh, what do you think?
Easy.
No problems there.
There's Jody Rogers. There's some of the coaches in the competitors area really enjoying what the Chinese are showing us today.
Plenty of power in this dive, right on the end of the board, up nice and high, double somersault, pike dive at the end, and not much splash.
Nothing below 8, and some 9s in there, 4 of them in fact, 63.36. After 6 rounds, here are the standings. Gao Min leads 296 to 283 from Lu Hai Song. So it's China 1-2. Arina Leshko back in third now from Britta Baldas, Krista Wilson, Heidi Marie Bartova of Czechoslovakia, Daphne Jongens, Farrell Ovenhouse up to 8th now. Tracy Cox-Meyer, Zimbabwe, and the Canadians trail at the moment, Edwin Boisvert and Mary DiPiero.
Boisvert, 236.25. DiPiero, 228.26.
Canada. I see she likes badminton, Don. Ask her for a game. One of your favourite sports, isn't it?
Certainly is. She's got me a little worried here. She's got the fulcrum quite a way forward on the board, so no matter how hard she tries, she won't get a lot of height. It's a big dive. Back 2.5 tuck. Yes, she ended up short. She could have done with a little bit more power in that dive. I don't understand why she's got the feet so far forward. Of course, that takes the spring out of the board. Double somersault, not much height. Kick the feet of the board. Enough height to get it in.
6.5s, 7s, 53.76. Evelyn.
13-20,
Bensing seems to pull out her best for the World Championships. She was 6th in Madrid in '86, and she's in the final again.
Forward 2.5 pike. Bit of a bang from the board as she leaves it. Looked like she got away with it. just a little short of the entry. The board clanging behind the divers as they leave just indicates that they didn't coordinate it properly. Double somersault, a little bit short just there.
5 sevens in there for 50.4.
Julie Carl 305C, reverse, 2.5 somersault.
Carl House, reverse 2.5 tuck position.
Well, this is the telling time in the competition. Usually the back and reverse 2.5s separate the medalists from the rest. That's a little bit slow, the rotation there. It's not a miss, but it's not one of the best she could have done. 6s is the scores that are going to come up. Not quite enough power on the takeoff here. Rotation a little slow. She squeezed it in tight, kicked out, just a little short.
2 6s, but a couple of 4.5s in there too. Average around 5.5, 46.
Tracy Cox 305C, reverse, 2.5 somersault, tuck,
Tracy Cox Smythe swept into the final, but she's diving well.
Reverse 2.5 here. Tight, kicked it out at the right time. Good job. Of course, remember she isn't able to get those smooth entries into the water, which is a good one though. She's happy with it. Important thing is that the body has gone in vertically. Good takeoff, double somersault, kicked it out at the right time.
And all judges saw it as a 6.5 for 54.6. Enjoyed it.
Lady Barbara 305C, reverse, 2.5 somersault, tuck, 2.8.
Mary Bartova, reverse 2.5. Tuck position, 2.8 is the difficulty.
Great height. Looked very close to the end of the board. Maybe in her own mind she thought, goodness, I'm taking this straight up and I might hit the board. On the replay we should be able to see that it's fairly close to the end of the board. She scared herself at the end. It's gone fairly straight up. Watch where the board is. Just missing the end. Drives ended up short.
Scores are as low as 3, up to 4.5. 32.76 Bartova.
Mary Piero 105C, forward, 2.5 somersault,
Canada's Mary DiPiero.
2.4.
Forward 2.5 pike. Lower degree here, 2.4. Seemed to pick the end okay. It's just a little bit short, however. On to the end of the board. A bit of a stance though. Double somersault. Looks for the entry. Just not dropping the head into the alignment with the arms.
7 the average score there when you take out the 7.5 and 6.5. 50 points. Krista Wilson, 5th after 6 rounds. Can she figure it in medals at the end of the day? Yeah, she nails the back 2.5. Tuck, but now confronts it. She'll make a bit of a hole. What's to be done?
Important dive for her. Looked a little bit slow getting started. She squeezed the tuck. And that squeezing in the end has been her undoing because the dive has flipped a little over. Slow start, so she's pulled the knees in tight, kicked out very late, and you can't stop those feet going over. Very tight tuck.
5.5's up to 7.5. Got a range there. 51.24.
Daphne Youngin, 305C, reverse, 2.5
Daphne Youngins.
2.8.
Through the first 6 rounds, she's been anywhere from 6th to 12th. She's 7th at the moment. Let's see.
Reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. This dive will either put her in a position for the medals or take her right out of it. Well, it's a little bit of a shoulder splash at the end there. Not a top dive. Brother Edward saying she didn't quite get that smooth entry. Left the dive a little short. Girdle right to the end, quickly into the double somersault. Kicks out at the right time. Just throwing a big splash away from the board.
Something in the high 50s. Baldas Luxy, and she's a phys ed student.
And this is a really big dive. Forward 3.5 somersaults in a tuck position. Only 2 of the divers performing this dive today. Oh, look how quickly she did it, and she got down well. Great performance. 2.8 difficulty factor here. Only 2 of the women divers at this World Championships are able to do this dive. Her hurdle's been right onto the end, a very fast spin. 1 somersault, 2, 3 level with the board, quite down here. Oh, terrific dive.
Well, 6.5s, maybe the judges could have given her more, but 53.76 is what she has to take. Wu Haisong, China, trails Chinese Tin Mei Kiao by 13 points. 2.5. Height. 3 is the difficulty factor.
Sacrifice height to get the dive around, and it looks like a little bit of a twist at the end of the dive. But we'll pick it up in replay. Not much height at all. She's gone straight into rotation here, making sure of the 2.5. Out at the end, just a little twist of the hips on entry. Not much height from this view.
7.5 sevens and 6s for 61.2. Marina Leshko, coach watches nervously as she tries to haul in Liu, who leads her by some 7 points.
Back 2.5 somersault pike position, so the legs will remain straight. Oh no, she's landed short. She was very disappointed. A look of surprise when she comes up. No problem with the top of the dive. Double somersault. Come out just a little early and drop the legs instead of continuing them on. Fortunate for her.
And those scores and that total of 59.4 won't allow her to peg back Liu. It'll become the Gao Min show. Establishing the lead and brings her back 2.5 with Pike.
Now what's going to happen to her here? The pressure's being taken off her. Will she relax and maybe a falter develop because of that? Or will she take advantage? Well, a slight splash thrown by the shoulders. But this should pick up 6.5 and 7s. Extend her lead. Got into this somersault action very quickly. I thought she'd go a little higher. Slightly bent knees in the spin, just a little bit short on entry.
6.5 and 7.5s for 60.3. Gao maintains her lead. Gao Min still leads, some 13 points. Liu, Leshko in third position. With Valdez in fourth, Mr. Wilson fifth. Daphne Youngins sitting in sixth position, not too far away from the medal calculations. Katrin Bensing, Julie Farrell Ovenhouse, a lot to do. They want to get near the bronze medal. Tracy Coxmire, Heidi Marie Bartova, Evelyn Boisvert, and Mary Di Piero round out our 12 finalists. Mark Lindsay's standing up doing some stretches.
There are still people in the audience using flash cameras. A further reminder that the use of electronic flash is absolutely prohibited.
Oh, Daphne Youngins off on her own. Listen to some inspirational music, no doubt.
Commencing the 8th round of start. Evelyn Boisvert, 3:05 reverse, 2.5 console, up 2.8.
Ready for round 8. Evelyn Boisvert of Canada. Reverse 2.5. Position.
Kicked out a little early. Fortunately realised that way to take with the shoulders, but still the dive's gone short. 5.5s.
6.5, 7, 6.5, 6.5.
Let's have a look. Double somersault. Kicks out early. A bit of a tug. It's got in better than at first look.
56.28 for Boisvert.
Kathleen Bensing, 2:05 speed. Back, 2.5 console, up 2.8.
Katrin Bensing, 5 years old.
Her 8th dive now in this 10-dive final. Back 2.5 somersault, tuck position. Rotating backwards. Of course, the water is unsighted at the end of the dive until the very last moment. Not much height, very slow spin. And the result of that is a short dive. Disappointing glide to the surface of the water.
6.5.
Slow rotation speed here, double somersault. Tried to get it right. In the end, finishing 20 degrees short of it.
Sixes there. Low, 4.5.
Julie Farrell, 2:05 speed. Back, 2.5 console, up 2.6.
Julie Farrell Ovenhouse, she's 8th at the moment. Bensing not having put in a big dive. She could sneak up another place here.
Well, see, she folded slightly on her reverse 2.5. This back 2.5 is the same action, so she'll want to do a better one. And she has to. That's better than a 5.5 dive by a fair degree. Feet just flipping over a little at the end, bringing it down to a possibly 6.5, 7 dive. Good spin at the top, kicks the feet straight at the end of the board, just gone over a little. More like the way the dive should be done, apart from the split tuck.
6.5s and 5.5s there. 51.24.
Tracy Coxmire, 2:05 speed. Back, 2.5 console, up 2.6.
Tracy Coxmire of Zimbabwe. Back 2.5. Tuck position.
This is father anxiously awaiting beside the pool for this most difficult dive. 2.8 is the difficulty factor. Kicks it at the board, but unfortunately gives a pull with the shoulders, and the dive goes over slightly. Now the judges haven't been penalising the divers a great deal for these entries that are slightly over or short. Still scored quite well for it. Top was good. Double somersault completed quite well.
6.5 is the top. Down to 5.5, 48.76. So not quite 50.
Aileen Margaret, 405C. England, 2.5 ton vault, 2.7.
Czechoslovakia's Heidi Marie Bartova. England 2.5.
Tuck position. She takes a deep breath. Gets the feet settled. Fast spin. Wasn't too fast, but she's able to pike out at the end and get a pretty good drop on the dive. Should be looking at sevens here. Double, watch the pike. Pike finish and the dive in. Not a bad effort on this dive.
7.5. The popular score, 59.94. Reverse 2.5, tuck position.
No hesitation, straight into the dive. Oh, that's better from her. Kicked out at the end of the double in precisely the right spot.
6.5.
Good takeoff was the secret to this dive. Doubles, kicked it out, hooked to the water. Great effort.
Sevens and 6.5 there, a low of 6 for 57.12.
Krista Wilson, 305C. Reverse, 2.5 ton vault, 2.8.
Krista Wilson is 4 points adrift of Krista Valdis. Battle for 4th and 5th here.
Big dive, reverse 2.5 tuck. Good takeoff. Oh, kicked out early. We've seen that on a number of occasions in this final. Dives which were really powering well. The dive is not used to that feeling of misjudging the end. And that's what's happened here. The top was too good for her. She tried to come out early thinking the rotation would continue.
There you see the scores, 4 and 4.5. That's disappointing for her. The Youngins, 25 years old and veteran of 2 Olympics. 8th in 88 at Seoul, 10th, 94 in Los Angeles. In the 2.5 position.
Two things she needs here. Is height from the board and a fast spin. Both of those, not quite straightening out on the entry, but still a pretty good job on this hard dive. Should score around the 7 mark. Those legs drove the board down. She got height, double somersault, kicked out, just not straightening out on the water. Double somersault, tight, closed pike position.
Sevens there, 55.89 for Youngins.
Peter Valdis, 205C. Back, 2.5 ton vault, 2.8.
Peter Valdis. We're back 2.5. With tuck.
Now Britta really attacks the dives. This one should be no different to the others. Oh, into it. Solid kick out with the feet at the end of the board at the end. Little splash in the entry, but it was vertical. Should be looking at sevens from the judges. Very fast spin. Kick the feet at the board. Just a slighter shoulder splash.
6.5, 7, 7, 7, 7. 57.
4 sevens there. 57.12 the total for the German girl.
Blue High Kong, 205C. Back, 2.5 ton vault, 3.0.
Liu Hai Song of China trails Gao Min by 13 points. High position. 3 is the reverse difficulty.
Tough dive, but Lou's spinning so fast, her problem is going to be taking the dive over. And that's exactly what she's done. She's spun this dive so fast, not able to control the end. It's flipped right over. She's not going to score more than 4s for this. All that power going into somersault, not enough into height. Come out a little bit too late, and away it's gone. Big splash.
Indeed, the scores are as down as low as 3 and high of 4.5. 34.2. That's Blues campaign for the moment. Rena Lashko, 8 points behind Lou coming into this 8th round. Lou has just put in a 4 dive.
Reverse 2.5 pike. Oh, that's better. I thought she was going to be short on this dive, but she's had a good look at the water at the end of the dive, given a little pull with the shoulders, and has ended up getting it on. It'll be 7. Not a brilliant dive because there's a correction at the end. Very classy, cat-like ability to be able to just hear it's a bit short, and that extra tug.
7.5, 7 and a 6.5, 66.6. Take her ahead of Lou. Well, there's a right royal battle going on for 2nd and 3rd, but Yao Min is unchallenged at the moment at the top.
Well, this is the same dive again. She skipped off the end of the pool, but look at the control. Made this reverse 2.5 look like a reverse 1.5. The rotation was very fast.
The better this is Tony Ashley to come on, and that's what she's doing.
This spin really is out of control. It's very fast, but she's just put the brakes on. Let's just drop it in. No problem for the Olympic champion.
7.5, so low of 6, 64.8 is enough to keep her in front, and she's stretched her lead. Yao Min leads from Irina Lashko of the Soviet Union. 19 points now. Britta Valdis is 3rd. Lu Hai Song from China back to 4th place now. And Daphne Youngins is 5th. Krista Wilson of the USA 6th. Medicine of Germany. And October is 8th. Farrell Ovenhouse, Edmund Boisvert, Tracy Cox-Smythe, Mary Di Piero make up our tour.
This time when we get pulled out of the blue, we'll do it as if it's a start.
Now the advanced penultimate round of dive. Evelyn Poirot, 5.355 feet. Reverse, 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twists.
Round 9, Edmund Boisvert. Reverse 1.5, 2.5 twists.
Stamp on the end of the board, and the dive ended up short. She's hit the water with the body still quite tight. Judges have been fairly easy in this final, not really slashing dives that have got obvious errors to them. 2.5 twists okay, nowhere near straightening out. That should get 4.5.
Well, top of 7th with only a low of 5, 52.2.
That's 3.05 reverse, 2.5 somersault.
7th coming into the second last round is Captain Bensing of Germany. Reverse 2.5.
Stamp the board. Knew the spin wasn't there, held on a little longer. But unfortunately unfortunately kicking out a little bit too late. The dive's gone over. Leaning backwards on takeoff. Slow spin. Vertical kick out with a big kick going.
Scores of 5.5 there, 46-2, Bensing.
Julie Power 405C. He was 2.5 times off, top 2.7.
Julie Farrell in the house. Last year's NCAA champion, but on 1 metre. And she's in the World Championships on 3 metre. In with 2.5.
Just rolling the dive slightly long. I didn't think the look that she gave us just before starting the dive was as confident as she's been earlier in the competition. Double somersault. Kicks out. Just rolling the heels. Big split tuck in the middle of the dive.
7.5 is the top. 6.5 below score. 57.5.
Top 5, 405C, Greenwood, 2.5 times off, 2.7.
The ninth dive will be an in with 2.5.
She's performed very well here in the final. Hasn't really missed a dive. Another good one. 6.5 and 7, possibly higher. There's her father giving a big round of applause, trying to influence the judges. 7.5. Last double somersault, plenty of height too, that's good to see. Not a bad job on the finish.
Those scores giving her one of her best results of the day. 59.93 the total.
205C, back, 2.5 times off, top 2.6.
25-year-old Heidi Marie Bartova. 8th after 8 rounds.
Most of the women electing to do the backward 2.5 somersault in a tuck position like this one. Nice height, nice and slow, kicked it out pretty well. Just a tiny bit short in the end. Technically done very well, lots of power, kept it close to the board, nice body position, kicked the feet back up on the board, and looked back for the entry. Nice close tuck position too, no legs coming apart there.
Those scores only getting a 60 today.
Here we go, 205C, back, 2.5 times off, top 30.2.
Mary Di Piero of Canada. She get away from the bottom of the table here. Back 2.5. Pike.
The pike position lifts the degree of difficulty by 0.2 up to 3.0. Much harder to do this dive with the legs straight. But the finish is easier. She got vertical there, but threw quite a big splash. That's all come off the shoulders. Even though the body was vertical, the arms didn't get into position in time for the entry. You'll see the shoulders and the arms take the impact at the end of the dive. Just here, not quite getting into line. Even better from this view. Just the hands hitting before they got together.
And 50 points, easily enough at this stage of the competition.
Krista Wilson, 5235C, back, 1.5 times
Krista
off,
Wilson.
2.5, 3.6.
Ballet and dance student in the junior years, and that grace really shows out in her dives here. Very smooth. Back 1.5, 2.5 twists. Nice dive.
Kept it very close. A slight pike on entry. But there's no doubt about it, one of the most graceful dives in the field. Very smoothly into a 2.5 twist. Pike dive at the end. Just marginally short of getting to that vertical straight position at the end.
7.5 and 7, 61.32. Daphne Youngins of Holland is forced away up to 5th, and with 2 dives left, the medal isn't out of the question.
Back 2.5 somersaults tuck here. Turns around on the end of the board. A little bit of water from the hair on the hands. That's to give her good grip in the tuck position as she grasps her legs. Plenty of concentration shown here, and it's needed. Slow spin, kicked out at the right time though. She knew exactly where she was. And she needed to. There wasn't much height, not much room for error on this one. Good stretch on takeoff, double somersault but a slow spin. The judgment was spot on.
Daphne Youngins has thrown a hat in the ring with that effort. 63 points. Aldous, see, ranked 3rd at the moment. Hang on for a medal.
Reverse 2.5 tuck. Looks a little nervous up there. Possibly this might be one of her risky dives. The takeoff. Oh, kicked out. Well, unfortunately flipped those feet at the end. I thought she had a ripper going for her here. Magnificent attempt at the top of the dive. Right on the end, tons of height, fast spin, solid kick out, and just pulled it too hard, the feet went over.
Well, a great shame. 6.5 could have been 7.5 instead. 55.44 the total. Lou Hai-Song, the 8th round, in the previous dive, only got 4s. One damn dive of the day. Improve on it.
Not a bad effort. That dive also kept close to the end of the board. Reverse 2.5 pike position, so the legs remaining straight right through the dive. 3.0 is the difficulty factor, but keep your eye on the end of the board there. Pretty close. But the finish is good.
3. Done her any harm at all.
Giving a run shot, 5.3353, reverse, 1.5 twist, 3 position, 2.9.
Rena Lashko trails Gao-Ming by 19 points. More importantly, you have to hold on to second. The pressure comes from behind. Reverse 1.5, 2.5 twists.
Well, plenty of height. The feet came apart in the middle of the twist. The legs were still together, but the feet slightly crossed, and she doesn't get that out, even right down under the water. Shaking her head. Not as bad as she thinks it is, though. Dive's good. Look at the feet crossed. They stay crossed most of the way through, even down here to the water.
7.5s and 8 there. 65.25. Well, it's not quite at the stage where Gao-Ming has to fall over to miss the gold medal, but she's diving so well, she's just never giving the impression she's going to let the gold medal go.
The pressure really is for the minor medals. Not too much on here, not with these 2 dives from Gao-Ming. In with 2.5 pike. Folded slightly yesterday on this one. She won't do that 2 days in a row. Kick the body through, vertical position. Arms could have been placed better on the end of the dive, but that's one of the things about the world champion. You can see any tiny little thing that goes wrong, you can see it. Because she's so high in the air. Technically, beautiful pike position. Not a bad dive.
And she's not letting them catch up. Those 7.5s for 67.5 points.
shot, 468 points. Blue, 438 points.
9 rounds gone, 1 to go, and Gao Min leads now by 21 points from Irina Lashko of the Soviet Union, and she's comfortably second. Lu Hai-song is third, and Britta Baldus is right with Lu though, 38. So that's a great battle for the bronze. Daphne Youngins fifth, Krista Wilson, Anna-Marie Bartova, and Julie Farrell-Ovenhouse into the top 8 now. Tracy Cox-Smythe, ninth. Boisvert, Katrin Bensing, and Mary Di Piero. Justin Fulcrum there, Boisvert, Canada.
See, she's put it well up the front of the board. She's going to be doing inward 2.5, tuck position.
Well, you picked this up earlier, Don. She wasn't able to get through a dive with the Fulcrum that far forward.
Well, with the fulcrum forward, it almost becomes like a tower takeoff. There's not much spring in the springboard with it here, so I predict that she's going to go short on this dive because it's hard to get power with the fulcrum there.
Only 2.5.
Kept it close though. Wouldn't you know it? She's done the opposite of what I said. She's hung on tight, thrown the dive over. You see on the takeoff, she's kept the dive close to the end of the board. Plenty of spin has developed, not much height. She's held on too long and thrown a heel splash.
Evelyn Boisvert, Canada. Scores are in the 4.5 up to 6 range, so 42.12 is the average total.
Kathleen Benjamin, Germany. 5-1-3-4-D. Forwards 1.5 control, 2 quick,
Never been in Madrid in 1986. The last World Championships. Made the final and finished 6th in the 3 metre.
Double twist here for her to finish with. Double twisting forward 1.5. Slow in the twist, but she's controlled it very well. Popped it into a vertical entry. This is the best dive we've seen from her in the voluntary section. Straight 1, 2 twists, hikes out. A nice job of the entry.
Yes, they're good scores. A couple of 8s there. That is her best effort. For 57 points. She likes it. Cup. Go of the Soviet Union. Some 19 points now. Britta Baldus is third. Lu Hai-song from China back to 4th place now. And Daphne Youngins is 5th. Krista Wilson of the USA 6th. Katrin Bensing of Germany. And Bartova is 8th. Farrell-Ovenhouse, Evelyn Boisvert, Tracy Cox-Smythe and Mary Di Piero make up our 12.
Remember this time when we get to about Lu, the first time around, then do it as if it's a start. So we've got a package position. It's fitting together well.
Now the 9th and 10th round guard. Evelyn Boisvert, 5-3-3-5-3. Reverse, 1.5 control, 2.5 twist.
Round 9, Evelyn Boisvert. Reverse 1.5, 2.5 twists. 2.9 is the degree of difficulty.
A stamp on the end of the board and the dive's ended up short. She's hit the water with the body still quite tight. The judges have been fairly easy in this final, not really slashing dives that have got obvious errors to them. 2.5 twists okay, nowhere near straightening out. That should get 4.5.
Well, top of 7th, but only a low of 5, 52.2.
Kathleen Benjamin, 3-0-5-3. Reverse,
Seventh, coming into the second last round, is Katrin Bensing of Germany. Reverse 2.5.
Stamp the board. Knew the spin wasn't there, held on a little longer, but unfortunately kicking out a little bit too late, and the dive's gone over. Leaning backwards on takeoff. Slow spin, vertical kick out, and the feet keep going.
6 scores of 5.5 there for 46-2 for Bensing.
Julie Farrell, 405C. England, 2.5 tons. Tuck, 2.6.
Julie Farrell-House, last year's NCAA champion, but on 1 metre. Here she is in the World Championships on 3 metre. Inward 2.5.
Just rolling the dive slightly long. I didn't think the look that she gave us just before starting the dive was as confident as she'd been earlier in the competition. Double somersault, kicks out, just rolling the heels. Big split tuck in the middle of the dive.
7.5 is the top, 6.5 the low score, 57.5 points. Tracy Cox-Smythe, her 9th dive will be an inward 2.5.
She's performed very well here in the final. Hasn't really missed a dive. Another good one. 6.5s and 7s, possibly higher. There's her father giving a big round of applause, trying to influence the judges. 7.5. Fast double somersault, plenty of height too, that's good to see. Not a bad job on the finish.
And those scores giving her one of her best results of the day, 59.13 the total. 25-year-old Heidi Marie Bartova. 8th after 8 rounds.
Most of the women electing to do the backward 2.5 somersault in the tuck position like this one. Nice height, in nice and close, kicked it out pretty well. Just a tiny bit short in the end. But technically done very well. Lots of power, kept it close to the board, nice body position, kicked the feet back up at the board, and looked back for the entry. Nice closed tuck position too, no legs coming apart there.
And those scores only giving a 60, top of 8, low of 7. 6.5 in fact. Mary DiPiero of Canada. She get away from the bottom of the table here. Back 2.5 with Pike.
The Pike position lifts the degree of difficulty by 0.2 up to 3.0. Much harder to do this dive with the legs straight. But the finish is easier. She got vertical there, but threw quite a big splash. That's all come off the shoulders. Even though the body was vertical, the arms didn't get into position in time for the entry. We'll see the shoulders and the arms take the impact at the end of the dive. Just here, arms not quite getting into line. Even better from this view. Just the hands hitting before they got together.
And 50 points, not really enough at this stage of the competition. Krista Wilson, ballet and dance student in the junior years, and that grace really shows out her dives here. Very smooth. Back 1.5, 2.5 twists for her 9th dive.
Kept it very close. A slight pike on entry. But there's no doubt about it, one of the most graceful dives in the field. Very smoothly into the 2.5 twist. A pike dive at the end. Just marginally short of getting to that vertical straight position at the end.
7.5 and 7, 61.32. Daphne Jongens of Holland is forced away up to 5th, and with 2 dives left, a medal isn't out of the question.
Back 2.5 somersaults tuck here. Turns around on the end of the board. A little bit of water from the hair on the hands. That's to give her good grip in the tuck position as she grasps her legs. Plenty of concentration shown here, and it's needed. Slow spin, kicked out at the right time though. She knew exactly where she was. And she needed to. There wasn't much height, not much room for error on this one. Good stretch on takeoff, double somersault but a slow spin. And the judgment was spot on.
Daphne Jongens has thrown her hat in the ring with that effort. 63 points. Greta Baldas, as you can see, ranked 3rd at the moment. Can she hang on for a medal?
Reverse 2.5 tuck. She looks a little nervous up there. Possibly this might be one of her risky dives. Good takeoff. Oh, kicked it out well. Unfortunately flipped those feet at the end. I thought she had a ripper going for her here. Magnificent attempt at the top of the dive. Right on the end, tons of height, fast spin, solid kick out, and just pulled it too hard and the feet went over.
Well, a great shame. 6.5 could have been 7.5 instead. 55.44 the total. Lu Hai Song in the 8th round in her previous dive only got 4s. Her one bad dive of the day. She can improve on it. She'll get back into the middle configurations.
Not a bad effort. That dive also kept close to the end of the board. Reverse 2.5 pike position, so the legs remaining straight right through the dive. 3.0 is the difficulty factor, but keep your eye on the end of the board there. Pretty close, but the finish is good.
60.3. Hasn't done her any harm at all. Arina Lashko trails Gao Min by 19 points. More importantly, can she just hold on to second as the pressure comes from behind? Reverse 1.5, 2.5 twists.
Oh, plenty of height. The feet came apart in the middle of the twist. The legs are still together, but the feet slightly crossed, and she doesn't get that out, even right down onto the water. Shaking her head. Not as bad as she thinks it is, though. Dive's good. Look at the feet crossed. They stay crossed most of the way through it, and even down here to the water.
7.5s and 8 there. 65.25. Well, it's not quite at the stage where Gao Min has to fall over to miss the gold medal, but she's diving so well, she's just never giving the impression she's going to let the gold medal go.
The pressure really is for the minor medals, but not too much on here, not with these 2 dives from Gao Min. In with 2.5 pike. Faulted slightly yesterday on this one, but she won't do that 2 days in a row. Took the body through in vertical position. arms could have been placed better on the end of the dive, but that's one of the things about the world champion. You can see any tiny little thing that goes wrong, you can see it, because she's so high in the air. Technically, beautiful pike position. Not a bad dive.
And she's not letting them catch her with those 7.5s for 67.5 points. Nine rounds gone, 1 to go, and Gao Min a leader now by 21 points from Irina Lashko of the Soviet Union, and she's comfortably second. Lu Hai-song is third, and Britta Baldus is right with Lu though on 4:38. So that's a great battle for the bronze. Daphne Yongin's fifth, Krista Wilson, Heidemarie Bartova, and Julie Farrell-Ovenhouse into the top 8 now. Tracy Cox-Smythe, 9th, Evelyn Boisvert, Katrin Bensing, and Mary Di Piero.
Battle for the bronze, really. 3 of them.
Adjusting the fulcrum there is Evelyn Boisvert of Canada.
And we see she's put it well up the front of the board. She's going to be doing an inward 2.5 in the tuck position.
Well, you picked this up earlier, Don, that she wasn't able to get through a dive with the fulcrum that far forward.
Well, with the fulcrum forward, it almost becomes like a tower takeoff. There's not much spring in the springboard with it here. So I'd predict that she's going to go short on this dive because it's hard to get power with the fulcrum there.
Inward 2.5.
Kept it close though. Wouldn't you know it, she's done the opposite to what I said. She's hung on tight, thrown the dive over. You see on the takeoff, she's kept the dive close to the end of the board. Plenty of spin has developed, not much height. She's held on too long and thrown a heel splash.
And for Evelyn Boisvert of Canada, the scores are in the 4.5 up to 6 range, so 42.12 is a pretty average total. Germany's Katrin Bensing competed in Madrid in 1986 at the last World Championships and made the final and finished 6th in the 3 metre.
A double twist here for her to finish with. Double twisting forward 1.5, slow in the twist, but she's controlled it very well. Popped it into a vertical entry. This is the best dive we've seen from her in the voluntary section. Straight 1, 2 twists, pikes out, and a nice job of the entry.
Yes, they're good scores. A couple of 8s there. That is her best effort for 57 points. She likes it. Her competition finished. It's Julie Farrell-Ovenhouse, 8th, as we come into these final dives. 4th on the 1 metre at the 1989 FINA World Cup. A graduate in criminal justice at Michigan State.
Well, let's hope she doesn't have a go at the judges after this dive. It's a very difficult one to finish with. 2.5 twisting, back 1.5 somersault. Oh, it's a little bit short. Just the tiniest bit short on rotation. So much to be done to get the 2.5 twists completed in time for the entry. 2.5 twists, and then down to the pike dive. Not enough clearance to get it in vertically.
See 7s, 6.5s, a 6, 55.44. Off comes the strapping. She's done. Tracy Cox-Smythe, 34 years old, from Zimbabwe.
She's going to attempt a similar twisting dive, but only 1.5 twists here, and this will be done running forwards, rotating backwards. Well, she did it better than I explained it, but not a bad job. Got into the water pretty well. Father clapping the final dive for his daughter in this competition. Last dive for Tracy. Heading backwards, start the twist, 1.5, and then complete the somersault action. Lined up well.
6.5 there. A couple of 7.5s too for 51 points. Heidemarie Bartova. Bronze medal on the 1 metre at these World Championships. Really not likely to figure in the medals here.
We're getting plenty of variety too here, Steve. This is a forward 1.5 with double twist. Good take off. Oh, nice dive, except the feet came apart in the second twist. Just as she was finishing her twist action and coming out, they came apart for a moment. She did well to get them back together again. Let's see if we can pick that up. Into the twist. 1. Feet coming apart just here, back together. But nicely finished off.
7.5s, top of 8, 56.25. Canada's Mary DiPiero. She was the 1 metre champion at the 1990 Commonwealth Games, 6th on the 3 metre, 4th on the 3 metre at the Goodwill Games. Steadily improving.
Inward 2.5 tuck for her final dive. 2.7 is the difficulty factor. Important for her to keep her weight right over the end of that springboard. Yes, she's done that, dropped it in well. No fancy pike finish to this dive. She's come straight from the tuck to the straight position to finish off. The weight staying right over the end of the board. That's a good sign. Double somersault right around, coming out to the vertical entry position.
DiPiero, 4 scores of 7 and 3 of 7.5 for 58.32. Here's Krista Wilson. Her father is an announcer at diving meets. In fact, he worked at the 84 and 88 Olympics. I'm sure he'd be proud of her achievements here in reaching the final. She'll finish around the middle of the field.
Good to see the parents being involved in the sport. There's lots to be done apart from the actual diving by the competitors. Just waiting for the dive number to be corrected beside the pool here. She looks pretty confident.
Krista Wilson then, last dive will be an inward 2.5.
Little hesitation on the takeoff, and we saw the result of that, flipping the dive right over. She'd be disappointed with that final performance.
Ken Ferguson and Wendy Lucero, medalists here for the USA watching.
Just as she took off, there was a little hesitation or a break in her back. Just here, moment hesitation, and the dive was really gone at that stage.
Not her best finish. 4s, 3.5 in there, 35.64. Daphne Yongyans. Now, a medal isn't out of the question here. She only trails Lou and Baldus, who are on 4:38 by some 6 points. So if she can get in this 1.5 with 2.5 twists.
It's a big dive. She's got the fulcrum right back alongside her there. That's the roller under the board. It's back as far as it can go. So she'll get maximum power. Reverse 2.5 twists. Oh, it's a good one. That's going to score 7s or above.
My brother Edwin likes it. The 87 European champion. Can she pick up a medal here too?
2.9 is the difficulty factor, so it's going to score well. 2.5 twists, 1, 2.5. Now what's the entry like? Just a little bit short, but not by much. Really gritted her teeth for this dive. Fine effort.
And 60.9. Will it be enough? We'll have to wait and see, so will she. Kiss from the coach. Well done. Britta Baldus. Well, she's only 25 and these are her 3rd World Championships, Don.
just waiting for this dive. Same as Yonyans did, reverse 1.5 with 2.5 twist, and the experience that you spoke about really coming into play here. She's got tremendous pressure on her. Solid take off a very powerful diver into the 2.5 twist, checks out very high.